Hey, how's it going? Take 3. I'm starting to think that maybe I'm not even supposed to do this. Anyway, let's toss it up and do it differently this time. Hey, look at those signs. Fascinating. Amazing. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, so I pulled one card from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. Trying to get it so it doesn't have glare on it, so anybody who wants to see what the heck it looks like can get a decent look. And from there I pulled Woodwives, and the subtitle is Adaptability, and it is number 64. 6 and 4 is 10, and Baptist leaves 1, and that is a high number, even though it's a low number. It's one of those, I guess, spiritual paradoxes. You can look up the spirituality, meaning, angel number, numerology of the number 10, which ends up just being 1 because 0 is no. The heck am I babbling about? So, today I see something completely different. Well, not completely different, but somewhat different from what I've seen in the past. There is a central figure there. It is androgynous-ish to me, but I'm thinking it leans female. And what I feel like is happening there is the being is at like its normal place, I'm gonna say, of reverence, because I feel like what's happening there in front of them on that sort of tabletop that's under the arm that's pretty darn close to being a branch, if you ask me. But it's almost, I want to say that this person maybe for some reason started out with only this much of natural growth on their arm, or maybe at some point something happened to where the rest of the arm is not like this other one over here and was severed. And in order to adapt and still be able to have 2 arms and hands, they somehow were able to merge with a branch, and that's their other hand. And so beneath the hand is their tabletop, and I want to say it kind of looks like some sort of like a receptacle where you might, I don't know if you've ever gotten like actual frankincense, but it's like some kind of sap, I think. And the first couple of times I got it, it was at this place, and they'd give you this little disc of charcoal about that size, and then it would have like a little recessed sort of, I guess it was molded, but it would it was like a little, like a Rolo, Rolo candy, except those are kind of more almost conical. This was flatter, like a black Oreo with a lip. But anyway, it was so you could put the frankincense in it, and then you put a couple of little sticky, I believe it's like greenish yellow bits of it on this charcoal thing, and then you can just set that whole deal on wherever, that would be fire safe basically, and you light the frankincense and you just go, and it just burns for hours. And the charcoal, it's not like what you cook in your grill with. It doesn't burn like that. It actually, it runs out of air after the frankincense is gone, I guess. I don't know what the process is, but once the frankincense is ash, the ember that would be under the frankincense in the charcoal just kind of burns out. Must be like the surface area. I don't know. Don't even try to get into it. You don't know about those kind of things. Don't get too technical. So, anyway. Now, if you look, the person that is there seems to have dark hair pulled back in a bun, and they are facing into this sort of flash of light, I guess. And it almost looks like the other arm is up, sort of shielding their eye a little bit, because it does look very bright, doesn't it? But she doesn't look tensed, as if she's on the defensive. She, I don't know, maybe almost is like expecting it, or even drew it there, because it's some kind of light energy power. And you see it also lights up this area where this dish receptacle area I was talking about is. And in that, like the frankincense that I was talking about, like that would be sitting on its disc of charcoal, it would glow this color as it burned out, you know, like anything does, you know. It goes through the stages of flame, lower flame, and then it's like a red thing that's still really, really hot. Don't try to touch it. And then it turns into ash. But, you know, it's a process. So, some sort of process is taking place here. And when I looked at it, I thought of rose petals, which are on my mind today, but on this side screen. But actually that came after I looked at this and thought of rose petals. But I don't know, I guess they're on my mind a lot. For spiritual reasons, they have a lot of significance in a lot of areas, so they come up a lot. Wow. So she's just like working away at whatever she's doing, and it's almost like she's like absorbing the light and adding it to what she's doing. She doesn't look at all disturbed. She's just kind of looking at it like, okay, I can work with that. And she's doing big processes. You see that she is not out in our world. Like, look at her body. You would know if somebody looked like that. And then there's always this behind her, and I've seen it as different things, but whatever it is, it's hers, and it follows her around. And try explaining that in a crowded street. It's like being famous, trying to go somewhere or something. And I mean, some people can do it and just are normal, but other people get mobbed. And I would imagine if it goes on for years, they just don't even want to go out anymore, because like, leave me alone, for God's sake. And people like won't. So she is doing some kind of big deal there, and my wondering is, what is she preparing for exactly? Oh man, ow. One of my ears just like, I'm not in an airplane, but it felt like that thing where the pressure changes in your ear is painful for a moment, but just in one ear. Okay. I'm gonna read what the guidebook has to say about woodwives. Adaptability, strong roots, growth. The woodwives dance into your dreams as a reminder to be grounded no matter what life offers you. You need to know who you are, what you'll tolerate, what you've learned to date, and what boundaries to set so you feel good about yourself. Life is going to offer you something extraordinary now, and in order to learn and receive its blessings, you must remember that being grounded gives you more freedom, not less. You have everything you need. You have all it takes to do this right now. If you also keep reminding yourself to be flexible, you will be amazed by how well things play out for you. The Woodwives are both wisdom keepers and students of the New World, as these forest spirits have an uncanny ability to adapt to changing circumstances and always find the perfect way to grow and expand. They represent what you already know how to do. Learn. Be in beginner's mind. Let go of your rigid notions of how things should be, and to be present to what is right now, unencumbered by your projections. Is there a storm brewing because things need to change? No worries. Nothing can uproot you now, and it'll pass, and you will dance with nature and move with it all. Move with it all. Perhaps you're being given an opportunity to take a chance on something new, and you're not sure how far you can go without losing your footing. Have no fear, for when you remember your roots, your integrity, your authentic self, you can stretch yourself beyond the invisible line you drew. Go for it. You'll be glad you did. I feel like I read that and retained nothing. That's terrible. And it's also not really true. I just am stuck on, she's preparing for like something big, like this wave of light is coming over her like something big, and the way it is that we get news and sort of spread the news to each other is it's like a very iffy game. I feel like if other people are gonna be your source of news, your news is very likely gonna be all messed up and wrong, because we don't, like, we might hear something that somebody tells us and we kind of agree because it makes sense, it sounds good when they're telling us, but then when we turn around and retell it, it becomes clear that some of the stuff was said we didn't understand. Like, it was like beyond our knowledge kind of thing. Like you hear the words but you don't know what the hell they mean. Okay. And so then if you try to explain like what it is you like about this thing that you talk about, you kind of get messed up again, because what you heard is not what was said to you. Because if you don't know what people are talking about when they're saying it to you, and you don't ask them to explain it, your mind will just be all, that was said and it sounds good, but I'm not going to bother to learn what the hell it means. So you either end up using it, and you may learn or you may never learn that you're using it wrong and you look foolish doing it, and take all the wind out of your point, because a lot of times we'll be very vehement about what we're saying because what we learned and what we heard that we're trying to talk about made us really excited and passionate. But and then there's also everything I said before, but when someone else hears something and they're relating it to someone else, if they don't have all of that stuff I said before, or even if they do, they're also going to filter it, through their own lens. That's a mixed technical metaphor, I guess, but sure, why not? I know, where am I going? So, I just feel like there's a lot of things happening in the world, and it doesn't even matter what you term them. You can categorize it in any way that you want. each and every event is going to make other stuff happen. So these kind of chain events, chain reaction events, we kind of mostly cannot predict. Some things you can. You don't have to be a psychic. You can just see stuff and make observations. No patterns, no cycles. Like, we know hurricanes are going to come every year, right? We know rain's going to come every year. We know summer, we know night, day, blah, blah, blah. The certain things we know are going to come. So, I guess we live with those forever, but other things sort of in between all of that, and like enmeshed in it, exist, and then they have their own sun-ups and sundowns and cycles. Like, each of us is a world unto ourselves, I think it's safe to say. And we, just being in near proximity of each other, are like swapping psychic spit, I guess you could say. And the level that we're aware of it is a range of degrees, but mostly I don't think we are, until it is just really obvious and you're having some kind of confrontation and screaming in someone's face, or having your face screamed at. But generally, I think we just sort of wander around and are on automatic. So I feel like this is reminding us that I don't know what this is that's coming. I don't know that she knows what's coming. I think she's just sort of, accepting the light and bathing in it and taking that, as the information that she gets about it with. And to me, that seems like some sort of self-preservation is being undertaken here. And maybe not just for herself, but like just for general vicinity, because she's in an area of growth and she's practically a tree herself, and root systems spread far and wide. And did it not say in this booklet? Well, I guess I did retain something. She has roots. She has deep roots, and grounding is an excellent way to sort of empty your mind of stresses. And I think she lives grounded. Look at look how high up the ground starts for her. She's like up to her knees in it practically. That's a metaphor. You can see her legs, such as they are. But I'm saying she's always in a deeply rooted state of mind. And so whatever is happening out here in the darkness, so to speak, she's going to be able to meet it and make any necessary changes she has to, because just like if she's doing some kind of martial arts, she knows something's coming. She don't know exactly what it is, but she knows how to block and defect and defend. Not that I think that she's going to be doing some kind of arboreal kung fu or something, but hey, you never know. She might do a poison ivy or Groot on someone that, was trying to do her dirt, I guess. Like, post-storm people who don't know how to behave. And I'm not talking about looters. I'm talking about people that just shoot people and, assault people that can't defend themselves. And these... Okay. I don't like where that's going. Never mind. But, we don't have to go there, but that kind of thing could be out in the darkness. So she's, I think, preparing for the spreading of light and using her root system to sort of go around the dark things that would directly want to prevent her activities from going on and from becoming viral, so to speak. Okay. I did pull another card from this here deck. Oh, geez, that's very glary. The Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. Come to me, please. And I pulled bear. Now, I know that if you pull a bear card, if you pull a bear, I'm a bear. Anyway, this card here, what do you automatically think when you see a bear? You might think honey if you're a kid and you thought of Winnie the Pooh, but this is not Winnie the Pooh. Definitely not Winnie the Pooh. So, what else do you know about bears? Hibernation. That is the first thought that I think when I see this. When I first saw this is what I thought. When I see a bear in the wild, my mind goes there at some point. It doesn't take too long either, because I know 2 things about bears. No, I'm kidding about that. I probably know like 7. But anyway, this time that is where I'm gonna go, because funny thing, when I was out today, I take a ride on my adult tricycle every day, and this is not like a 3-wheeler bicycle. This is literally a tricycle. Like, the front wheel is where you pedal, like a tricycle, and it's a mobility thing, but it's really fun. And so I get out there on it just about every day. And when I was on my way home, well, so first of all, I didn't leave the house early in the day, which I should have, or I could have, because Sunday people are either, at home glued to some kind of sport, or they're at church. And I waited until I knew the local church was over with, and then I went and looked outside, and it looked like it was gonna storm. And I came in to check the weather, and sure enough, it was gonna rain, because sometimes it looks like it's gonna do it, but it doesn't. So I waited, because generally what happens is by mid-afternoon, 2-3 o'clock, something like that, whatever kind of weather we're having, either it's full-on storm or it's done for the day. So about 2 o'clock, I decided to venture out, and I looked outside again, and it had rained. I have a plastic chair on my deck, and it had water in the seat, and it sits right on the edge where the rain can get to it, which is how I know if it rained, and it looked like it had. So I was like, okay, cool, now's my chance. So I get out there, and I get about a quarter into my usual, like I figure I'd do about a mile, and I got about a quarter into it, and it started to sprinkle, and that's okay. It can sprinkle, doesn't necessarily signal a full-on rain happening, but that time it did. So I wasn't that far away, and I have not wanted to be out on this tricycle thing, because it's I call it the Tin Man, because I feel like if it gets too wet, it's gonna rust. It's completely painted and covered, and it's new, so that it's actually not likely to happen. And I wasn't out there long enough to be going through deep puddles or anything, which I would avoid in any case. I'm saying, I just realized it's probably safe to just go ahead and stay out here, and you can just wipe off the water when you come in. So I did like a shorty version of my route because it started raining really hard. And I just had a t-shirt, and I had like a hoodie, but it was made out of t-shirts, so I was like, forget it, might as well just leave it in there. And then I thought, I'll just go ahead and do a little bit. Like, I didn't want to just turn around and come back and basically not get anything out of it. So it was nice, though, because it's been a long time since I actually was just out in the rain, and I stopped using an umbrella a long time ago because you're lame if you use an umbrella where I live. Anyway, and I didn't get that wet. I mean, I had shorts and a t-shirt because it wasn't cold either. It was just kind of, it's been that way lately, like we're in some sort of diorama or something like that's what I've been feeling like. But anyway, ow! Oh Lord God, that hurt. Oh my goodness. Woo! Oh man, excuse me. So anyway, I'm coming down the driveway of the house where I live, and there's this row of cedars. There's 7 of them in a row, and I call them the 7 sisters. And I usually stop, or I'm like cooling down by this time, so I'm slowly making my way to my house, and I usually stop there because I love the smell of cedar, and I like trees, and I can't hear them the way other people can, but I like being beneath them. I feel like they know when I come, so maybe I hear a little something. I don't know, I just really like them, but I get like right in front of the spot that I like to be in front of them, like whatever, I'm a little compulsive. I have to be in my certain place, and there was a branch had fallen out of the tree, and I don't know how it happened, and whatever, I was just all, oh, it fell, and then it's gonna be fall. I know it's still summer, I think, but the weather has stopped acting like it here. There's usually a smell, a certain scent in the air that you can tell when the weather changes, and I didn't know if other people got that, but I mentioned it the other day. Oh, what? She's not over there. I mentioned it to my caregiver, and she said, oh yeah, I haven't smelled it either, so it is a thing. But there's something about the being outside when it's raining in shorts and a t-shirt, and it's just not cold. It wasn't cold before that. But it looks like, oh, it looks like a storm's gonna happen, like a pretty, powerful storm, and then it usually doesn't. But and it didn't even do it today. I mean, maybe after I came in, I have no idea. These storm windows are amazing. They actually keep out the sound of the storms. It doesn't keep out the sound of the kids shrieking or the dogs barking, but unless it's doing thunder and lightning, I generally don't know if it's raining unless I look out the window, or try to go outside. So I guess I adapted to the situation, but the water ain't gonna kill you. I came in and I changed my shirt, but other than that, I was like almost immediately dry. I went to wipe down my bike. It wasn't very much to wipe down off of it, but I just don't want it to do that rusting thing. So the branch, it was not like a branch, it's actually up there behind me hanging, and I grabbed it because I like the smell of cedar, so I brought it in so I could smell it. But I just thought it was interesting because it fell like right in front of me, and I've been thinking like fall is here, fall is here. I'm not the only one. Everyone I talk to just about seems to just be saying it like we're a bunch of automatons or something, or some kind of androids, and then we've been programmed to say it. It's been kind of strange, actually. I've heard it that much, like either talking to me or even like we're in the store Friday or 2 days ago, and I heard it so many times. Just people, I don't know, I guess we're like big on the weather here. But anyway, the branch had fallen, and it has like a few pine cones on it, and I just thought, okay, fall, it's happening. There's no smell yet, but it's here. And then I pulled this, and that's kind of why I went to hibernation. And you know what happens in the fall, and the football season and Thanksgiving happens, and hot drinks and comfort food, all of that stuff. Fall. we like it. And it must have been kind of rough for these guys this year, you know. Here, where I am, if you go into the mountains, I'm certain there's bears. I'm in lowlands, so they don't make it this way as far as I know. But other woodland creatures do. And I know that, like, across from my deck, there are blackberry brambles, and it seems to be this sort of unincorporated tangle belonging to the property next door across the fence. Ow! Jeez! And so, the berries have not been very plentiful or even plump. Like, it seemed like the plants were working real hard to get those berries out, and there were more this year than there have been in previous years, but it seems to be like a drought thing. And where I live, it used to rain so many months of the year, it wouldn't stop raining until July 5th, and then I always said there was 2 weeks of summer because you got like a month before it started to turn again and just be raining all the time, which I didn't mind. I kind of moved here for that, from a hot place with little rain. So, the berries are just not looking so great here, which makes me think whatever else there is that animals feed on is also suffering. And then up the street, where is on my route, I've come across a couple of does, and I've seen 3 or 4 fawns with them. So, and I've started leaving them carrots every once in a while. Sometimes I'll, you know, drop like a couple of apples or something. And then, right when I started seeing them, I saw them in a different spot. They were like further down one of the roads up there, because there's like one road and it has another one that tees off of it, sort of, that's short. Well, they're both short once you cross. Anyway, they're short roads. But I had seen the deer down at one end, and then another day I caught them crossing the other road to get to some other blackberries, and there's like a slough there, which is like some kind of cut that, I don't know if there's still water in it, but water used to flow there. So I'd seen the deers there, and they were eating berries. And then I came up there one day last week, and they had cut down damn near the whole field of berries, and I was like, shit, they eat those. What do you do? Like, I get upset. So I'm not gonna do that now, but I would think that it's been kind of a lean year, and I don't know, maybe I'd be ready to go to sleep too. But I also noticed that the sun is like very dark for the sun, like it's very butter kind of, but also it just invokes that feeling of fall light that's not as bright as summer light, you know, or like winter when there's snow on the ground, or, you know, precipitation on the ground, just making glare and brightness. Like, this is very sort of winding down, very sedate, kind of looks sleep-inducing. So I think that's the change that the bear is making, and I don't know, like maybe it's a sort of an indication for us to like chill on the, like, being so excited about everything that it turns into anger. And, you know, a lot of us are aggressive. Like, I haven't seen it in person, but you get to see a lot of stuff broadcast, and there's a lot of people that are angry, and they can't even talk about other people without making it an insult fest. And it's like, but if you really have something wrong with them, just say that. Like, they'll make it personal, because that, you know, then other people take it personal back, and it just gets ridiculous, which is, I kind of feel like is where we are. So I think we need to adapt to a more calm state of mind for everyone involved. Like, even the people that are like, rah, 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 it's like, that can't be good for you. And I look at them sometimes, and they're not in the best of health. Like, you have that relative maybe that, you know, is older or like heavy, and you know, like their heart can't handle too much excitement. Don't you want to protect them? Don't you want to calm them down? I'm going to wrap up here, but first I'm going to read what the guidebook says about bear. Waking from spiritual slumber, beginning anew. After a long winter, the bear rises from deep slumber. At first, the movement and effort are difficult. See, no, this is backwards. They're talking about the bear waking up. I'm not going to go farther, or I'm not going to read this anymore, just because it doesn't apply. So that's like going into summer bear, I guess, or spring. This bear is calling it a night. And I think it's a signal for us to just like take it down some notches, you know, shift down into a lower gear and conserve your energy. Don't, you know, blast through your fuel. Keep your powder dry for something real to get upset about. Just a thought. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do. Oh, if it sounds like I am, please, I'm not. I'm sorry about that. This is a mistake. Maybe I have to rephrase. What am I doing? Say, thank you and good night. Have a good one.